I'm Rich Whitney, Green Party candidate for governor of Illinois. And today I'd like to talk about one of the biggest problems facing our state today, the state budget deficit. Our state government can't do much to solve the unemployment problem until we fix the structural budget deficit. And we can't fix the budget deficit with gimmicks like fund sweeps, more cigarette, alcohol, gambling, and candy taxes, or more legalized gambling. We shouldn't try to fix it by cutting vital agency budgets, cutting jobs, and attacking workers' pensions. During a recession, we need to be expanding public jobs, not shrinking them. We need to be improving retirement security for all workers, not attacking that of public sector workers. I reject and resist the view that the right wing likes to propagate these days, that government is the problem, or government can't do anything right. Our own experience with government services, water, fire departments, police, postal service, or with the tens of thousands of dutiful public servants in our government, and our historical experience proves that it isn't true. What is true is that when government is captured by narrow self-interests that have a material stake in either destroying government or looting it for themselves, or both, when they make it virtually impossible to succeed, then they create the illusion that government is the problem, or that government can't do anything right. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of the right. For example, first they starve the schools of funding, then they claim that our public schools are failing and argue that they need to be privatized. First they raid our Medicaid and other public health funds, delay payments and manufacture problems, then claim that publicly funded health care won't work. First they defund social services, then blame public workers for their failures. This has been the strategy of the right. We the people must not be blinded by this. I insist on the principle that when government is truly controlled by the people, as is supposed to occur in a democratic republic, it can and has accomplished many good things. It can and must become a true vehicle for social progress. I will fight to solve the state structural deficit problem, not push it off on future generations through more and more borrowing that will just continue to make the situation worse. A more detailed explanation of how I intend to do so will soon be presented on my website. However, the basic components are as follows. First, we need to enact a comprehensive tax reform like the 2008 version of House Bill 750, which would abate property taxes, raise more revenue through the income tax, lower the burden on lower and middle income workers, guarantee improved state funding of both grade school and higher education, eliminate the structural deficit, and restore health to the pension system. Second, I propose and will champion the fight to create a state bank as a repository of all state tax revenues and pension contributions. While almost all states today are struggling to balance their budgets like Illinois, one exception to the rule is North Dakota, the only state with its own bank. Instead of using state funds as a means to enrich private banks, a state-owned bank could earn additional revenue for the state, while at the same time help spur economic development in Illinois, using the fractional reserve system to extend and expand credit where it is needed most, while borrowing from the Federal Reserve directly at the same 1% rate as commercial banks. The third thing we must do to solve our structural deficit problem is that we need to generate additional funds via greenhouse gas fees. The twin crises of global warming and the end of the era of cheap oil demand immediate, decisive action. While the federal government is debating whether to implement an ineffective cap-and-trade system to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, Illinois can get ahead of the curve by implementing a simpler but more effective greenhouse gas tax. Those who are imposing such terrible costs on society should start paying the price for it, while creating an incentive for energy producers and manufacturers to transition to renewable energy and zero emissions processes. And fourth and finally, there are other means of generating revenue that we should embrace, such as the legalization and taxation of marijuana at rates comparable to current taxes on alcohol and tobacco, both of which are more hazardous than marijuana. The overall case for legalization will be provided elsewhere in this website, but among other things, this will also save costs of our criminal justice system so that that criminal justice system can be applied to more serious, real crimes. With respect to tax revenues, it is difficult to project how much revenue can be raised for obvious reasons, but some estimates indicate that revenues of between $1 and $2 billion annually are in the ballpark. These are the ideas that I propose and that I will fight for as your next governor. I'm Rich Whitney, Green Party candidate for governor of Illinois, and I ask for your support and your vote in November 2010. Thank you.